there fans, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I want to give you some insight into Prime Animations and what's been going on over the past few months, and then where we're going to go moving forward, right? So from the start, I want to confirm I am not quitting this project as is indicated in the title. No sacrifice, no victory. I am pushing through all the way until the end. But for now, let's take it one topic at a time. I want to start with Galvatron's Revenge and what's been going on regarding some members of my team. Okay, I think by now a good portion of people know the controversial events that has really plagued my project, my channel, and my name. If you are out of the loop and would like the complete and honest truth regarding this matter, you can check out my backlash and sabotage video. I'll leave the link in the description below. You can check those out if you want to get all the factual details in chronological order. Since Galvatron's Revenge, a number of people who hate this film due to the controversy have gone beyond simple critiques of the film. Since the movie's official release, the attacks towards me have been constant, and it's all good, as I'm sure many of you see. I don't back down despite being advised to. But sadly, these monsters haven't just come after me. They've actually gone after some of my artists. I was informed on Mother's Day that one of my artists' life was actually threatened for their involvement in Galvatron's Revenge. And they had to report the incident as they feared for their life. They feared that their life was actually in danger. This person was so impacted. I don't know the specifics, the specific details of everything that happened. I was only given like a high view of what took place, but they've managed to instill fear in this individual to the point that this person is no longer comfortable with showcasing any of their artwork, even that artwork that is apart from Prime Animations. I mean, what type of miserable lowlife does one have to be to threaten someone who is not the center person of the controversy, and essentially disabling their artistic talent over a stupid cartoon? Now, I know I still have, me personally, I know I still have some silent haters who linger on this channel quietly, because no matter what video I post, they're just right off the bat, they're hitting dislike. So I know that they're still there, and I know that they're watching. And if you're part of that group, you should be ashamed of yourself, and you need some serious psychiatric help. You are what you criticize and condemn, which is a hateful human being. Your tactics of physical intimidation combined with verbal abuse are pathetic as you sit safely behind your little keyboard and pretend to be tough. I'm going to be praying for this artist's sanity and well-being, as this individual who literally had nothing to do with any of this other than art manages to regain their internal strength and overcome these negative feelings. And if you are a person of prayer and faith and good vibes and whatever it is that you believe in, please, in silence, send that over to that individual, because that person, really does need it based on the interactions that I've had. Now, unfortunately, these animals don't just stop at harassing my team. I'm sure most of you watching have felt their poison at some point, because they will verbally attack anyone who likes this film, this project, or this channel. This is why, if you do a search on YouTube, you'll find over 30 videos dissing this film and only 2 talking positively about it. Go on X/Twitter, and for the past several months, it's been 100% hate. You'll have to go back to 2019 to find anything positive about the film, and anyone saying that they liked it immediately gets pounced on in the current present. Heck, they'll even do it to their own people within their own hate group. So there's this one individual, and prior to the controversy, one guy donated towards the project, and after December 13th, after the movie came out, and I guess they saw it, and then obviously after the controversy back in January 17th of 2023, I guess people saw this individual's name in the thank you section, and it's been it. That's been it. People have constantly reminded this person, anytime this person makes a post, they remind them of his betrayal towards, I don't know, them, their ideology, whatever. And I want to emphasize, this guy apparently is part of their own group. He has the same thought process. He thinks like they do, but that doesn't matter to them. They still torch him to this very day. You know, when I was in elementary school, I got picked on and bullied a lot. I was the shortest and skinniest kid in the class. I didn't dress or talk like the people in my neighborhood, and given how pale my skin color was as a kid, I was an easy target for bullies, to be quite honest. If you talk to my mom, she was at the principal's office monthly, even weekly at times. She grew to have a close friendship with the principal since she was there so often. It wasn't until I started fighting back that the bullies stopped picking on me. Likewise, don't let these people harass, bully, or intimidate you into being silent. The more ground you give them, the more ground they'll take, and the more emboldened they will become. Stand your ground. Not just for something silly like this, but just in anything. Don't allow people to intimidate you into not being you or not expressing yourself, especially, again, not over a silly cartoon. Don't feel like you have to give into their ways just to be accepted or fly under the radar. If you don't stand up to them, they will just keep doing what they're doing and spreading the hate while pretending to preach love and tolerance, which is utter hypocrisy. I know a lot of this info and these details might be shocking to some of you. Some of you may have experienced it and you're like, yep, that's right, it's happened to me. And some of you may be asking yourselves, why are they even doing this? The answer is multi-layer, but I'm going to give you just a few of them, regarding this project. So let's start with the first one. They desperately want Galvatron's Revenge to be a failure. It eats at them to even think this movie's doing good. They want to believe so desperately that a third-party site that apparently shows a huge dislike ratio, they want to believe in that so bad, when I've repeatedly showed the screenshots of the YouTube dashboard directly from the site, and it shows otherwise. I always mention it at the beginning of each project update since posting the movie, and as of right now, we have 24,000 likes. Again, that is the most of all of our videos since I started way back in 2007, versus a 5.5K dislike, right? So 24,000 likes and 5,500 dislikes. And that puts the dislike versus like ratio at 81.4%. Now, this is an increase from exactly 1 month ago when it was at 81.1%. So we went up a total of 3 basis point improvement over the prior month that had a 2 basis point improvement. What does that tell you? The likes are outpacing the dislikes disproportionately. Simplified, there are more likes than dislikes. It's getting more of it naturally versus the dislikes, which was not naturally. It was forced based on the details that we just went over. The second part is that their intimidation tactics is to essentially silence anyone from talking positive about the film. If the film was truly that bad as they say it is, ask yourselves, would they really need to do all this? I mean, if it was that bad, there really wouldn't be a need for them to do anything, as the film would just tank on its own without their influence. But that's not what we're seeing. And that is why they have to work so hard at trying to tank this film. Sadly, they don't realize that although they are pretty loud, they aren't a very big group. But their reaction is typical of what happens when babies don't get their way. They scream and they shout and they get hysterical and they throw a little temper tantrum. The third aspect is they're trying to impact and tank the next film. We've had several people retract their contributions towards Dinobots Unleashed. All of these people had confirmed their involvement just middle of last year. Again, this can't be because of the way that the film turned out, because all of these unrendered scenes were published at the very beginning of 2023. So from 2023, you've got, let's just say, a year and 3 months till mid-2024. and they were still on board. Heck, they were on board after the initial controversy, and they stayed on the team while the main subject matter of the controversy was still on the team. So it can't be the movie, and it can't be the fact that that individual was still on the team that caused them to leave. Because when I actually ended up kicking him out in December of 2024, is that when they decide to leave? Right? So in other words, you didn't go with the initial, you didn't leave in the initial controversy. I stayed with this individual. You didn't leave then, but now after the movie's been released, now you leave? Seems like they may have been motivated to leave due to the tantrum tactics of these babies being expressed all over these different social media platforms. So what's the impact? Throughout my years, I've come to a very clear understanding that emotions are extremely powerful and can be used to manipulate people, deceive people, and cause people to stop thinking rationally and logically. That's why many people say you shouldn't buy or you shouldn't make major decisions when you're emotional. That seems to be the case here as well, as the emotions of these people, it blocks their logic. They can't seem to connect the dots in the fact that this project, Galvatron's Revenge, it took me 10 years to make. I think most people would have given up at some point. So they're totally underestimating my level of commitment, determination, resolve, and character. They think that if they can cause enough multi-layered damage, I'll give up and quit. If they attack my artists, I'll be left alone and eventually I'll give up. If they attack voice actors, no one will help, and that will cause Prime Animations to give up. If they attack you, the fans, and prevent support, I'll get discouraged and then I'll throw in the towel. Listen, aside from some personal tragedy happening in my life, none of those scenarios will actually deter me from finishing this trilogy. So in the end, the real person that they actually end up hurting is twofold. They actually end up hurting the artists, both the actual like artistic, like the actual art, right? Art talent, and the voice actors from showing off their skills and increasing their experience and getting exposure. The other group of people that they actually end up hurting is you, the audience. That's right, they end up hurting you. If I can't get more artists, that means we will have less artists than we did in Galvatron's Revenge, which means it'll take longer to get the sequel out. If we can't get more talent, that means the chances of improving from Galvatron's Revenge would more than likely not be there, so that gets impacted. When you think about those things, right? Who's the person that's getting impacted? You guys, because the viewership experience is then diminished. Lastly, if we cannot get enough talent to fill every character on our roster, that means I will need to turn to AI in order to fill that gap. That's not going to be good because AI lacks emotion and everyone knows that. This will again hurt you, the audience, because your viewership experience will be impacted and even diminished because instead of hearing actual acting, you'll be hearing a program reading lines. There's no way to slice the fact these people will hurt you one way or another if we continue to allow them to do what they've been doing. And that's why we gotta honestly stop it. We gotta stop them. We gotta voice if you actually like what you're seeing, don't be afraid to voice it. It's the only way these people are going to stop. Because then they'll see that they're wasting their time and they'll move on to some other easier target. That's what bullies are. Bullies look for the weak. They don't look for the strong. So if we continue to portray weakness, they'll keep coming. But if you stand your ground and portray strength, they'll stop. It'll deter them. All of that being said, I do want to recap and bring you guys up to speed on where Dinobots Unleashed is right now as of June 2025. So as of June 2025, despite all the challenges, we've managed to complete the following things, right? We've managed to complete 98% of our storyboards. There's two storyboards, two scenes that are left to storyboard, and that's essentially the last two fighting scenes. Character designs. We've roughly designed 20 new characters for this film. Okay, these are brand new characters, 20. As far as 3D goes, we've managed to complete about 13 different humanoid robot characters. We'll break it down. We've done 3 Dinobots so far, which is Grimlock, Slash, and Swoop. We've done 4 Predacons: Predaking, Darksteel, Skylynx, and Twin Strike. We've done 4 Insecticons: Black Arachnia, Arachnid, Razorhorn, and Inferno. 2 Decepticons: Shockwave and Starscream. None of those should be a surprise to anybody, because if you've been following along in our project updates, you're familiar with these character names. As far as non-humanoid characters, beastly characters, we've completed 7. We've done 2 Dinobots, Slash Velociraptor, and Swoop Pterodactyl. We've done the 3 Predacons, Predaking, Darksteel, and Skylynx. We've done all their dragon modes, right? And then we've done 2 Insecticons, which is Black Arachnia and Razorhorn. So those are the 2 Insecticons that we've actually completed. As far as vehicle goes, we've completed 4 vehicles. We've done Black Arachnia's Cybercycle, Arachnid's Helicopter, Starscream's Jet, and we've actually done the Decepticon Driller. So we've completed 4 different vehicles for this project so far. As far as environments go, we have a total of 8 new environments for Dinobots Unleashed. We have Black Arachnia's lab, Cybertron's moon, Predaking's base, 2 of Shockwave's secret labs, Hydrax city, Hydrax bunker, and then the Hydrax plains. Those are all new environments specifically for Dinobots Unleashed. What's left to do? Well, I already mentioned the 2 storyboard fighting scenes that need to be hashed out. But as far as modeling goes, right, we still need about 9 humanoid characters to model out, predominantly between the Dinobots and the Predacons. And then out of those 9, obviously we have about 8 beastly characters that will remain, right? Once that's done, as far as modeling goes, all of those characters, like I said, need to be textured and rigged, right? And then we can prepare with moving forward and animating this film. So in the end, guys, I want to assure everyone I will continue to push forward and make these films for your enjoyment, even if I have to do it on my own. I really want to tell these stories, and I really do genuinely want you guys to enjoy it. And I want to keep the Prime continuity going just a little longer, since we're all so fond of it. So, my friends, I hope that you guys are with me on this trilogy journey, and I promise to keep at it as long as I'm able to. So, as always, I want to thank you guys for your support, and let's just have a fun adventure with our favorite childhood franchise. So, guys, until next time, till all are one, peace out. Take care. Bye-bye.